Alright. Shit. Ring of Fire. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, wait, here, I do believe.
Oh, we're rowing. Oh, we're rowing. Oh, wait, I hear we're rowing. Yes, we are. Oh, here it's in for.
Hello? This is a test. I'm just going to play for a while to see if I can, can you see me? I normally shoot my videos in high def, but there's also a normal setting on here, which I imagine might be like 720. But what happens when I shoot high def, I only get 20 minutes per globule of film. So I'm going to see if I can go over the 20-minute mark, because I'm going to play my drums for at least an hour when the classic maples arrive, which hopefully might be this week. Okay, so that's the update on the classic maples. That's the update on the classic maples. Here, not here yet, but they made them again for me from Scritchy Scratch, because they're good dude sickles. All right, and Gale sickles. All right, so here we go. Hang on. Uh-oh. Let me get some of the effects. Sorry about the reverb. All right.
Yeah, we really shoot. Yes, we are.
You know what I got to do, though? I'm not digging this crash. So we're going to get this. I mean, it's nice. It's great for stage. This is a Peisty 3000, which was sold to me as a thin crash. It's not a thin crash. I think it's a power crash. You can actually kind of still see the word crash here, but I think it's a power crash. This is like 1,671 grams. This is heavy as hell for an 18, but it actually crashes really well. That'll come across on stage like there's no tomorrow. All right, so I'm gonna put up my hang on. All right. I do love Peisty with all their different alloys. So this is my sound formula, 18-inch thin crash. Frankenstein. They call this the Frankenstein logo. What happened with the sound formulas? The original sound formulas had a different logo that looked like the Sound Creations, but also too, this original sound formula were lathed, not quite like a Giant Bee, but it was a nice, cool, fine lathing that they used again a little bit on the dimensions, I think. Remember, these are B15 alloy. But what they did is then they switched not just the logo on the sound formula, but also the treatment of the cymbal. This is lathed differently, and it has a different sheen and everything. So these got to be a lot more like the signatures. And then eventually, of course, they phased these out because I think they were cannibalizing the signatures. Or the Peisty line, as they were truly called. All right, ready? So here we go. Hang on, let's get a check. So what I'm working on, remember I got to make this at least 20 minutes because I want to see if we go longer than 20 minutes with this setting. So I'm working on with the band. I'm playing with Mike and Mike. There's a guy in town named Mike, and then another guy named Mike, and then the first Mike's son, Jimmy, who's a keyboard guru, and he's like 4 years old. This kid's like 13, not even. No, I guess he's 15 and has like 9 or 10 students. He's a guru. So we're going to go in and we're going to play some Stevie Ray Vaughan. We're going to play Police, some Jeff Beck. And so I've been working on my Jeff Beck Freeway Jam. So be patient with me here, because when I used to fool around with this song, I used to play it more a little bit with my left hand on the hat. Except I'm switching it around to, I think, the way it's actually, so. Okay, so I'm just going to fool around with this for a while. I'm going to try and do sort of the arrangement in my head. I need something to go on here. Well, I'm doing the check of the 20-minute threshold. Okay? So. Do, 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 if you see a clip on YouTube, there's this bass player. Her name's like Tal Wickenfield or something. She's from Australia. She's like 33. I thought she was a little younger. I mean, she looks like she's 15. Who's just a guru on the bass. So you gotta check her out. So real fast, you have this going on. Hear that? Now I gotta warm up here for a minute, okay? It takes me with my funky left hand a little while to get the left hand going. So you normally see this, see how I'm doing this? Normally I'm like this. I gotta do this a little just so I can get the stick up. So remember at the beginning it's kind of like, I think it's, you know what it is? It's essentially just, I think the drummer just, Richard Bailey, I think. Not Simon Phillips, as most people believe. Richard Bailey. But it's kind of like, the whole groove is like, right? But what better to do when you're doing that? Watch. Except I think is, I don't think they're, I think they're, a reasonable facsimile thereof. So I've been working on it to make it feel natural. But also, too, I think there's also the way, instead of going, there's also, with my right hand, how does that sound, though? To me, it sounds really forced and funky in a funky way. Whereas I like to go, see my singles aren't that hot. I mean, I get a little speed on the front end, except I can't really, I don't have the endurance, okay? So I'm gonna have to throw in a different flavor in this tune. So now, you'll notice there how I stumbled, because what happens is when you're doing those accents, the ba, ba, so if you're keeping the flow going, that second crash will be with the left hand in this fashion. I can play it with the right that way. See how I double up the left? Correct? But if I keep it just flowing right to left, you know what I mean? So those are the little peccadillos of the song I have to get used to. Got to avoid those. Those aren't really happening. So what I've been doing is the key is I have a bunch of sticks laying on the ground over here. When your feet roll on them, it's a little bizarre. The key is, though, is for me, and I hate to do it because I'm Mr. Attention Deficit, is I have to sit here for long periods of times and literally just play the time on it. Not just for time's sake, but the sticking. So I'll just go like... It's a little slow, but just to do it to get the mojo in my brain. And I'll practice that too, but slower with my right hand doing those. He does that a lot. You know what I mean? So see, that's, you gotta go. See that? That's kind of hard. That's really a coordination thing to get down. I'm not worrying about that particular thing now, because I might not do that at the show, because it's still at my point in practicing. You have to be honest with yourself. A man's got to know his limitations. You know what I mean? Because if you get into a situation where you're playing live especially and you're not really comfortable, hear that? I'll stumble on it. So I'm going to have to kind of cheat and just not do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm working on. How are we doing on time? Are we getting toward 20 minutes? So that's a tune we're doing. Okay, so that's one I got to get down. Remember, so doing time. See, my left hand, this is where my left hand does mess with me a little. So hence this. See, I can't. I really got to pull it out, as I've said 20 times. Ooh, that's a good point. So see how I'm going. Well, you can also play it sort of. It's very bottomy. So, as demonstrated. What's happening there is my right hand's hitting at the same time as the bass drum, which I'll throw in a little in the tune, but usually on the ride. Ooh, hang on. I gotta bring the whole dynamics down. You know, I notice when I play the drums here, when I have the headphones on, I play so much louder because I need to like hear it in my head as loud as I would if I didn't have the headphones. You know, I talk very loud. I realize that when I'm out with my family and stuff, like I'll be, or George even, you've noticed from the videos. If I'm talking to George, sometimes I'll be talking to him like this and I get really worked up about something. I'll see his eyes sometimes go like, it's embarrassing, so I have to bring it down a little. So anyways, to bring it down. No, I keep wanting to go. It goes. I just want to. My singles, it's an ego thing. When I perform the song, I want to get those singles. See, I'm trying to do. So I might have to throw some of that in. But then again, it's a restaurant gig. So I can't do that. So. Well, that's a hard one. Keeping that bass drum just going with this. And then you speed it up a little. I don't trust myself still to do that like I said earlier at the gig. I'm afraid I might F it up. And we're also doing Superstition, Stevie Ray Vaughan, which on the version I've been listening to is like. Like that. There is Superstition. So that's what we're doing. Oh, we're also doing Driven to Tears. Copeland does a thing at the end there. So remember, he doesn't bring in the stick click till later. He doesn't go. For a little while, he's like. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but what he does at the end, he goes like this. No, he does a thing at the end, which is kind of cool. I used to be able to play that with greater ease, but I kind of got to get back into it because there's a version of them playing that in France that you saw in that movie, A Music War, that the Copeland brothers put together. And Copeland's just killing it at that gig. I think it's in Fréjus, France. Frejus, if you haven't seen it. Type in The Police. And a lot of that footage is in a movie, too. The Police Around the World. That the, was it Godley and Cream did? Or some family, maybe not them. No, not Godley. Some family did it for them. They went around with them in 1980, right after, like, Zenyatta. They were doing Zenyatta. They went to Egypt and Japan and France. And you know what's interesting, too? I met a guy. I sold a drum set to a guy who was on that tour. He was in one of the bands that was going around on tour with them. And he told me some stories about, like, XTC and Sting and the Police. Apparently, Sting used to keep a bottle of booze in one of his boots. A couple times they stole it and drank it, and Sting was freaking out. This would have been in 1980. Anyway, so we're also, let me see. So the Police, what else are we doing? We're doing like a collective soul tune. One of the guys wants to do that, which is fine. We'll do that. We're doing, believe it or not, we're doing a Duran Duran song. Now remember, remember the old adage. In gigs, where there's ladies, there's guys. And where there's ladies and guys, that's a crowd. Okay, so sometimes you throw tunes in there that are very, like, popular. Sometimes when you get ladies up dancing and digging it, the guys are digging it. It's like that thing from, what was it, Sesame Street or Electric Company? When it's that cartoon where the guy's fishing and he keeps pulling all the plants up. And then he pulls all the plants out, but then the fish aren't there. And there's a clam that's like, psst, hey, buddy. You know, the little fish, you know, like big fish eat little fish. Little fish eat plants. So he puts all the plants back and he starts catching fish. It's like that. And I don't mean for this at all to sound sexist or anything. It's just a fact, though. Where there's women, there's men. Where there's men, there's women. So you got to keep both sides of the equation. Not every gal in the world is going to love, let's say, if you're doing a Zeppelin show like In My Time at Dying. But oftentimes, a lot of people and women will find, just from my experience, at least in the past, Fool in the Rain, right? Or, you know. So sometimes, you know, people will talk about, and I've heard women say it's like chick flicks. I've also heard women say chick songs. Do you know what I mean? I haven't said that, but you get my idea. As I dig myself out of this hole. So we're doing those. Oh, we're doing White Room. 3, 4. Hang on. After all that. What else are we doing? We're almost getting to the 20-minute mark. Remember, that's the purpose of this. We're doing... a Pink Floyd thing from Umaguma Umaguma. We're doing, take it easy. We're doing, well, a couple other things. God, I can't believe I can't recall this. What the hell's the matter with me? A lot of stuff, which I normally remember, but I'm just down here playing it. Let me just double check the time. In the light room with black curtains. Oh no. Shit. I don't think this is... It says there's 4 minutes and frickin' like 22 seconds left. I gotta figure out how to... There's no way to make these videos longer. And Moxie, it's alright, buddy. So let me just play a little. Let me just play till the video goes out, okay? So remember, my black galaxies, remember, they're not black sparkle. A black galaxy, it's a black finish that has little glitters of green, gold, a red, but almost like a raspberry, and then blue, I think. It's wonderful. And so I'm getting a 24 by 14, well, 14 inch deep, 24 diameter, 9 by 13, and a 16 by 18. Okay, so an 18 inch, I love an 18 inch floor tom. I love a 12 by 14 paired with a 16 by 18. But if you can't get a, I gotta tell you, 12 by 17 tenor drum. Yes, 17. You can still get 17 inch heads. LUDWiG used to make 17 inch parade tenor drums. 12 inches deep, 17 across. I have one there and one there. When I set my the red stripy drums up, you'll see them. So let me just put on a little more of this. Little reverb, just a little. This is a groove I want to get nice and solid. You got to get it pocketized. You have to pocketize this groove. Rush it. So you got to be careful not to rush, but not to drag either. But it still has to sound human. Hang on a second. Adjust my pedal a little here. Sultans of Swing too. Check out my Sultans of Swing drum cover if you can. I'll just duct tape it on here at the end screen. That's just me on the drums. There's a track you can find here on YouTube, which is everything, the original recording except the drums that I just played over. So apparently I can't do, I have to figure